What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my devlog series. I do apologize for the long wait on this episode. I had a lot going on, and all of the changes that I made definitely took a while to code. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing that I did was implement Akimbo Weapons. So for the Glock, CZ, and Walther, you see here I added this Akimbo button. If you select it, pulls up this dual Walther prefab purchase. Now you have two. And same thing for the CZ. And then for the Glock. Perfect. And I'm not going to go into how I set this up. It's pretty much the same as everything else. I have this button here. When you first select the handgun, the Akimbo button automatically shows. You select that, it switches to the single button, and then if you select that, it goes back to single, and then it just keeps going. And then I went into the existing scripts for the weapon select, weapon purchase, and weapon equip, and added in all the appropriate variables pertaining to the Akimbo weapons. Alright, so I will briefly go over how I actually set the Akimbo guns up. So first I pretty much just made duplicates of each gun. So you see here, I have two CZ prefabs, two Glock prefabs, two Walther prefabs, one for the right hand, one for the left, and then the universal gun script lives on the right gun. Alright, so the way I set this up in the hierarchy, if you take a look at where the guns are held, I basically made a sibling object to the secondary recoil underneath the secondary weapon slot. So you see here secondary recoil, and then down here you see left gun recoil, which just sits to the left of the character. And then underneath that we have left Glock hold, left CZ hold, left Walther hold. And the reason why you don't see any aim game objects is because when the Akimbo guns are held, you can't aim. It's just hip fire. And now if you take a look at the, we'll do the gun purchase script, I added in the Akimbo gun variables individually. So you have the right CZ, and then the left CZ, and then the right Glock, right Walther, left Walther. And if we purchase the Akimbo gun, let me scroll down. Oh, Glock Akimbo or CZ Akimbo. Okay, we'll do that. You'll see instead of just one copy of a prefab, we do two. So we're gonna create the right gun and set it to the right hold position like normal, and then we make a copy of the left gun and set it to the left position. Alright, and just to briefly show you what this looks like in the hierarchy, we'll do the purchase CZ Akimbo. Now if you take a look, you'll see we have one underneath the Akimbo hold, and then one underneath the left CZ hold. And setting the actual shooting script up is fairly simple. Basically, so right here we have the Akimbo CZ. What you want to do is set up a bool that is going to dictate whether we're shooting with the right gun or the left. So in this case, and most cases, I would say the right gun is shot first. So I have a bool here that is set to true initially, called right shot. So inside that we have an if statement that says if right shot, We want to play the normal muzzle flash, you know, subtract the ammo, camera shake, everything that you have set up for the normal gun script. And then we set the right shot to false, and then we want to hit return. And then right below this if statement, we have another if statement that says if it's not, if right shot is false, we want to shoot with the left gun. So muzzle flash 2, which is the muzzle flash that's going to be on the left gun, we play that. And then everything else is the same. Current ammo minus, camera shake, and so on and so forth. And then we want to write right shot equals true, and then return. So we're now going back to the right hand. And the only other difference or element that switches is when we're shooting with the right hand, we call the normal secondary weapon recoil. And then if we are shooting with the left hand, we place the same script, the recoil script, on the left gun hold and call that. Alright, so the next step was to add back the damage system to all of the weapons and items. So we'll start with the universal gun script since we have it open. I mean, it's all pretty much the same, but where you have the raycast created, you want to write inside the physics.raycast statement another if statement that reads if what the raycast hits has a tag of your enemy, so in my case zombie, we want to deal damage to it. So we have if hit.transform.tag equals zombie, hit.transform.getComponent zombie health.take damage damage. So what we're doing is grabbing that game object and searching for a component on it, specifically a zombie health, a script called zombie health, and then inside that script we're going to call a take damage function. So if we open up the zombie health script, you'll see here we have a take damage function. And then we have it set up so that you need to pass through a float for it to work. So you'll see here, universal gun script, take damage, and then at the top of the universal gun script, we just have a float damage, and we set that in the inspector. And now it's going to be the same thing for the knife script. And just to briefly mention, I think I mentioned in last episode I wanted to change, so when you hit space and you spawn the knife and it stabs forward, it was an animation that played that just moved the knife forward and back. I wanted to change it to a lerp function similar to the weapon recoil and the aiming system. That basically, same thing, spawns the knife right in front of you and then lerps it forward a specified distance and then back. Much smoother, much easier to control the speed and the distance that it moves. And I would say the only specific thing with this worth mentioning is you only want damage being done when the knife is lerping forward, not backwards. So you just want to make sure, if you're setting something up like this, to deal damage only inside the area where the knife is lunging forward. So you see here, if stabbing in transform.local position does not equal end position, right here is where we lerp the knife forward. So inside this if statement, we're just going to set the same thing up as the universal gun script. Create a raycast, if physics.raycast, if the raycast hits an object that has a tag of zombie, same thing. We're going to grab the zombie health script and then call the take damage method and pass through knife damage float. And just to briefly show you what this looks like. Zombie. Alright, and the next step was to fix the grenade script. I'm not really sure what that bug was. I don't know if you remember in the first episode when I was throwing a couple grenades, some of them wouldn't explode. I'm not really sure what the cause of that was, but I pretty much deleted everything and kind of started everything from scratch. Alright, so if we look at the grenade script, you'll see we have a few variables at the top. We have a float for delay. We need to set some type of delay so the grenade doesn't blow up in our face. So we have public float delay, set it to 3 seconds. And then you'll see in the start method, we have countdown equals delay. And then in the update method, so once the grenade is active, we take that countdown and start counting down. And once the countdown reaches 0, we explode the grenade. Alright, and then we actually aren't using that, so I'll just get rid of that. At some point I'll add force to the grenade explosion. We don't have that set up yet. And then we have the damage the grenade will do. And then here's that countdown float, bool for if the grenade is exploded or not. Explosion effect, which is going to play when the grenade explodes. A float for the blast radius. Anything inside that blast radius will be hit. And then an array of the zombies. So what we're going to do with the array of zombies, when the grenade is thrown, we want to grab all of the game objects with the tag zombie and put them into that array. And then when the grenade explodes, we have a for each statement that reads for each game object Z and zombies. We're going to grab the distance of that zombie. So vector3 zombie distance equals z.transform.position minus the game object's position, so transform.position. And then we're going to write an if statement that reads if the zombie distance, and we have to write dot magnitude at the end of that. If zombie distance dot magnitude is less than or equal to that blast radius, so if it's inside the blast radius, and the zombie is not dead, so we grab z.transform.getComponent, get the enemy script on the zombie, and then check to see if that bool is true or not. So we want to make sure, because if we don't have that, basically it will technically do damage to the zombie even if it is dead. So we definitely don't want that. So now inside here we're going to draw a ray from the position of the grenade to the zombie. So we write if physics.raycast transform.position zombie distance.normalized out hit. If the raycast hits an object with the tag zombie, we're going to deal damage. Again, same thing as the knife and the gun script. Hit.transform.getComponent zombie health, take damage, and then pass in this grenade damage float. And the reason why we set this up this way, even though we already have the position and zombie game objects, we still need to make sure that there's nothing in between the zombie and the grenade. Let's say the zombie's behind a wall, right, and the grenade goes off. We don't want it to kill that zombie. So that's what the purpose of this is. We draw that ray from object A to B, and we check to see if that ray hits anything other than this tag. Alright, so let's just test this out. Perfect. Alright, and the last thing that I had to set up for this episode was the automatic weapon scripts. So for the automatic turret and the sniper tower, I'm still having issues with the flamethrower system. For some reason, it's not working the way I need it to, so we kind of put that on the back burner for now. Alright, so let's take a look at the turret gun script. So both the sniper tower and the turret gun are gonna use this. Now, same thing, we want to grab all of the zombies in the scene, and then we have an individual game object, or one singular selected zombie, which is going to be out of the array of zombies. This is going to be what the turret or the sniper tower locks onto. So I'll show you how that works. And then pretty much the same variables as everything else. We have next time the fire rate. This is going to dictate the fire rate of the weapon. Then we have a muzzle flash, which I have to add in there. Current ammo, max ammo, range of the weapon, rotate speed, turret damage, whether the turret is on. This one is just for the automatic turret. I think I said in the last episode that I want to have a button system where you can turn off and on the flamethrower and the automatic turret. That way you can conserve ammo and fuel. And then a bool for locked on zombie, and a float for lock on time, which is going to be used to invoke a method. But I'll show you that. Alright, so to start, we have in the update method, we're going to grab all of the game objects with the zombie tag, add them into this zombie array, and then in order to make sure that we're not trying to lock onto a zombie without any zombies present, we're going to write this if statement that reads if zombies, so this array dot length, so the size of it, is greater than 0, and we're not locked onto a zombie already, we're going to invoke a method and then lock on time. So the reason why I am invoking it is so that there can be a little bit of a delay in between each kill or each lock on. So if we scroll down to where that method is, locked on zombie, so we have the selected zombie, that singular game object, selected zombie equals zombies, and then we go into the zombie array, or zombies array, and select a random range of 0, between 0 and zombies dot length minus 1, so the size of the array minus 1. And the reason why we put minus 1 is because the count is off by 1. I'll open it up here to give you a visual. Hit play. Zombies. Alright, so there's currently 10 zombies spawning. And if you look, you'll see there's element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 1 less than the actual amount, because number 1 starts at element 0, and then element 1 is the second object, element 2 is the third, and so on and so forth. Alright, and then we have this locked on zombie bool. We turn it to true. That way it doesn't continuously try to lock on a zombie. Alright. And then similar to the grenade script, we have a vector 3 where we calculate the zombie position So we write vector3 zombie distance equals the selected zombie, the zombie that we're locked onto, take the position of it, minus the position of the turret, and then we say if that distance is less than or equal to the range, and time is greater than or equal to next time to fire. So again, the fire rate, we have the ability to fire, and the selected zombie, again, we need to check to make sure that the zombie isn't dead. Without this, the zombie could be killed and the turret will still lock onto it or still shoot it. So we write selected zombie.get component, grab the enemy script, and just check to make sure that the is dead bool is false. And then in the case of the auto turret, we just make sure that it is on. Okay, and then we call the shoot method. And then we have the shoot method here, same thing as everything else. Selected zombie.get component, grab the zombie health, take damage, pass through the turret damage. And then once the zombie is killed and the game object is deleted, there will no longer be an object selected. So if selected zombie equals null, we set that locked zombie bool back to false, and then we, as long as there are zombies in the scene, we do it all over again. Alright, so just to show you what this looks like. Perfect. Now I'm going to turn the sniper tower off. So that way the automatic turret can get some action. Alright, so let's take a look at the turret here. Turn it on. Let's see here, it locked onto a zombie. Perfect. Alright, and that is pretty much it for all of the current updates. Next episode is going to be a trailer. I have a few aesthetic changes to make. You know, I got to add the muzzle flashes, add a little bit more to the scene, work on the aiming positions of some of the guns, maybe the actual shooting sounds. But yeah, next episode is going to be a trailer of all of the changes that I've made. So I hope you're looking forward to that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And like always, thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Packer Games content. Thank you.